In today's lesson, we're going to talk about distributive property and partial products, okay? So let's break these words up so we understand what they mean before we get started with this. So distributive, basically, if you think of distribution, when I'm distributing something, let's say I'm going to distribute papers in a class. I'm going to take a stack of papers, I'm going to sort them out and put them out to each kid in a class, right? That's distributing. So that's the word distributive. Think of that like we're taking things that are in a pile and we're separating them out in different places. Okay, so that's distributive. Property is like a rule. So it's like, okay, how it's like a math rule, like these things work in math. So we're teaching you them and their properties. So you know that they will work in all these situations. We have addition properties like the commutative and the associative and the identity properties of addition that always hold true with addition. We have those same properties for multiplication, and then we have division properties and subtraction properties. And we have distributive properties, which are multiplication properties. So that's what we're working with today, is a distributive property. So we're going to take multiplication and we're going to distribute it out, and then we're going to figure out how to solve things a little bit more simply, because when we take numbers in a multiplication problem apart and like distribute them, it's easier for our brains to put them back together and get the answer. So that's kind of what we're doing today. Partial products, well, this is part of our technique to distribute these, is that we're taking two different products. So instead of taking a multiplication problem that might look really complicated, we're going to split it up and chop it up into sections based on place value. And then we're going to have partial meaning like just a part of, right? And products meaning multiplication, okay? So we're going to take pieces of multiplication problems and we're going to stuff them together to get the answer, okay? So this is what this looks like. And they have a visual in your book that works really well for this. And I'm going to kind of do two lessons in one. There's two lessons in your book, lessons 6 and 7, and they're kind of both the same. But the first lesson is going to break it apart a little bit more for you. And the second lesson you actually get to do in your head. So let's start at the beginning. If we have the multiplication problem, 5 times 17, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to put the 5 over here. And we're going to take this 17 and we're going to split it up into place values. So we're going to kind of like when we do expanded form. Okay, so the expanded form of 17 is 10 and 7 equals 17, right? So we're going to put our 10 here. We're going to put our 7 here. Okay. And then in each of these boxes, we're going to do our different problems. So in this box, we're going to focus on 10 times 5. And on this box, we're going to focus on 5 times 7. Okay? And then when we get those answers, we have 50 and we have 35. And 50 plus 35 is 85 because we have our 5 and our 3 and our 0 and our 5 and we get 85. Okay? So that is how this works. I hope you understand it. Let's do a couple more so we can get some practice, okay? So, I hope you're taking your notes. Take your notes, because notes are good. Let's try 6 times 81, okay? Looks like kind of a hard problem to do in our head, but if we use partial products by taking apart our 81 into 80 and 1, and we have our 6 over here. Well, 6 times 8 is 48, so we have 480. Oops. 6 times 80, and we have 480. And then 6 times 1 is 6. Oops, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. 6 times 1 is 6. So we're going to add our 6. So our answer is 486. So as you can see, it really breaks up our place values and makes multiplication a lot easier to think about. Kind of a cool strategy, huh? So let's try another one. And this time I'm going to write it on the board. I'd like you to hit pause on the computer and try it all by yourself and then see if you can get it and then hit pause again and get your answer. Okay, so let's try 4 times 16. Okay, and I would like you to hit pause right now because I would like you to write this in your notebook, and I want you to make sure you can put it all in this box correctly. That's kind of the goal here, is being able to set up your problem in this box. So hit pause, see if you can set it up right, and then undo it. Okay, I'm going to hit pause too and write it on the board. Okay, so I wrote mine up. I hope you have yours up too. Make sure you have yours all done before you hit pause again, or unpause or play. And this is how you should have it set up. You should have taken the 4 and put it over on the side over here. And then you should have taken the 10 and put the 10 here and the 6 here. Okay? So now we put our problems in here. 10 times 4. Okay? And we have 4 times 6. Okay? So 10 times 4 is 40. Plus 4 times 6 is 24, and we add those together and get 64. Okay, now if you're someone who really likes to add going up and down, these ones are easier, so I usually do a cross with these, but sometimes you do like that visual of going up and down. You can always write your problems like this as well if that helps you visualize this better. Okay, whatever works for you is fine. Okay, so that is the first lesson. We're going to do one more example in there. Actually, you know what? No, we're going to wait for our, we'll wait for our lesson. So the next kind of part to this, the distributive property, is doing the same thing, but then doing it in your head more. So if you're given a problem like 42 times 3. Okay. The way we're going to set this up is, instead of actually putting your multiplication problems in these boxes, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to split our 40 up and our 2 up, like we do when we do expanded form. And then we're going to put our 3 over here. And this time we're just going to multiply in our head and put the answers in here instead of writing out the multiplication problem. A little bit quicker way to do this, right? So 3 times 4 is 120, and 3 times 2 is 6, and now my answer is 126. Okay? Does that make sense? So this time we're not writing the multiplication problems out, just the answer, so you can kind of do it in your head. I'll make it go a little bit faster. But it's good to start out with that partial product first, because that way you guys can really just visualize what's going on before you jump into it. So let's try a couple of this way in your notes, and then we'll be done with the video. So we have 6 times 13. We're going to draw our box. And at this point, I'd like you to put your video on pause, and then you can come back when you're ready to see the answer. I'm going to just keep explaining the answer. Hopefully your video's on pause right now, or you're unpausing right now. So the way this works is we have our 10 and our 3 and our 6. So 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 3 is 18, and voila, we have 78. Okay. And if you want to write out this addition problem onto the side, if that helps you, please do so. Okay. Let's try another one. Another one is 3 times 52. 3 times 52. Okay. We have our boxes here, and we have a 3 over here, and a 50 up here, and a 2 right here. Okay. And if you want to hit pause and solve it and then come and check, you sure can. 3 times 5 is 150. Or I'm sorry, 3 times 50 is 150. And we have 3 times 2, which is 6. So our answer is 156. Isn't this fun and speedy and awesome? I am a big fan of the distributive property. I think it is a fantastic way to do multiplication. Okay, we're going to do one last one on the video here. We have 5 times 26. Set it up on your own, hit pause. And then I'll come back and show you how to do it. And you can make sure you did it right. All right, pause. And here we go. So you're going to set it up. You have your 5 here. You have your 20 here. You have your 6 here. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus we add our 0 for 100. And then 5 times 6 is, you guessed it, 30. And we have 130. Voila. Okay. So, there you have it. And that's your lesson. So I hope you got some good examples in your notes. You can go back and check them out if you need to. And with that, how out?